With 1.3 billion mouths to feed, the Chinese are coming up with ever more exotic ways to please the palate. I'm Vicki Liviakis. Come with me for a taste of the real Shanghai. In this episode, come get a taste of authentic Shanghainese food, where the recipes are 100 years old. And a quick cooking lesson from the chef at the high-end Jean-Georges restaurant. Plus, dip into a hot pot at a historic Chinese Muslim restaurant. Finally, reaching new heights on the Bund at this hip restaurant. All that and more coming up on Shanghai 2010. I've been searching far and wide for truly authentic Shanghai cuisine, and word has it, this is one of the best. This is the renowned restaurant Lao Zhongxing in the Huangpu district of Shanghai. They've only been at this modern, opulent 6-story location for 10 years, but it has a long history. The origins of this restaurant date way back to the Qing dynasty. That's more than 100 years ago. For 18 of those years, Mr. Hu Bin has been the restaurant's head chef. He's one of the best chefs in China. Many of his dishes have won gold medals. How does he explain the success of his dishes?
像这种油爆河虾呢，都是经过从进料一直到出品，都是经过严格的把关和选料的。所以说呢，这几道菜都能获得全高的最高金奖。
How many times do you actually get to go in the back, in the kitchen? We're here with Mr. Hu, he's the executive chef, and his assistant, Patron, and they're going to show us some of the typical Shanghainese foods, which are, of course, big in, freshwater shrimp, right? The shrimp comes from a nearby lake. Decorating the plate for the final presentation, a replica of a shrimp, intricately carved out of a raw pumpkin. Well, Mr. Hu, why don't we go ahead and start making some of that magic? It takes only a few seconds for the crystal sugar sauce to caramelize the shrimp, making the outside crispy and keeping the inside tender. Beautiful. Oh. Delicious. Say you're just not up for a crowded dining room and you're looking for something a little more intimate for, say, 20 of your best friends. Well, there are 2 levels of VIP dining. You can request a private room for a group numbering from 6 to 20 guests, more like dining in your own home. Shanghai has the largest population in China, with 20 million people. For lunch and dinner, on an average weekday, this restaurant will serve 450 guests. On weekends, it doubles. On holidays, that number triples. One big reason for the popularity is Chef Hu's cuisine. His favorites?
我最喜欢做的菜呢是一道油爆河虾，还有一道炒头圈子。油爆河虾是我们这个店的招牌菜，是最有特色的菜。然后它这个菜的制作关键呢，就是18秒钟，完全从开始炒到出锅。
This is pig intestines with wild vegetables, cooked in soy sauce, sugar, and cooking wine.
它的口感呢软糯咸香。
This is crab with green vegetables made with ginger and full of nutrients.
是用新鲜的河蟹煮熟以后拆出的蟹粉，然后下面呢用青菜打底，它的口味是咸鲜香。
And then there's sea cucumber with bok choy.
它是用海参经过反复的清洗发制，然后它的口味是软糯滑鲜。
As they say, when in Shanghai, Chef Hu, I think I want to go for one of the more adventurous dishes, the sea cucumber.
这道菜的名字叫虾子大乌参。
Okay, let's give it a go. See if I can get a hold of it. It's a little slippery. Beautiful. The sauce is incredible. I know it's not polite to speak with your mouth full, but it's so good. Chef, all I can say is, 谢谢.
谢谢，不用客气。
Obviously, we came to the right place. Chef Hu takes pride in his work here at Laozhongxing.
我们老中心菜馆呢，在上海已经开了有100多年了，是一个100年的老店。另外呢，就是经过这么多年的所有的厨师的努力呢，我们在原来的基础上呢，不断的创新和改良，使得上海菜在上海这个地方呢，我们老中心是很有名气的。
That may be not only because of the flavors and freshness, but because of the price. A meal like a tasting menu of 10 appetizers, 10 main courses, and noodles, about $10 per person. You can't beat that. I've had the pleasure of dining in one of the hottest restaurants in New York City. It's called Jean-Georges. You'll be happy to know that Jean-Georges is here in Shanghai as well.
I can compare the two restaurants, but the two locations very different. You know, New York is New York, Shanghai is Shanghai, but you can find some similarity between the two restaurants, of course.
Jackie Gorsler is general manager of the Jean-Georges restaurant in Shanghai. He's from the Alsace area of France, same as his boss, Jean-Georges. He used to work with Jean-Georges in New York.
Jean-Georges was looking for someone to manage his restaurant here, and I was quite interested. So I decided to leave Germany, where I was working at the time, and I decided to come to Shanghai.
The restaurant here at the historic 3 on the Bund building opened in 2004. In early 2009, they introduced a concept that had worked well in New York. The area before you enter the main dining room at Jean-Georges restaurant, they're calling Nougatine.
When you enter Nougatine, what you see first is the bar, of course. We have like a fantastic, beautiful bar, quite big, and Nougatine, all those sofas and chairs. We have some eel sofa, we have some elephant sofa. So something quite interesting, quite elegant and quite casual, but comfortable, of course.
The main dining room of Jean-Georges restaurant is more formal, with soft brown leather chairs. The menus are similar, but different.
Jean-Georges is more a place when you come for a special occasion. It's more expensive, of course. It's a real fine dining. Nougatine is more a day-to-day restaurant. You know, you can come 2-3 times a week. It's more affordable. It's really a great experience.
But dishes for both come from the same kitchen.
In the kitchen, we have around 35 people working in the kitchen. The chef, the main guy, Kim Lam, is from Hong Kong. He's with Jean-Georges since more than 7 years now, 7-8 years. He used to work with Jean-Georges in Wong in Hong Kong. Moved in Shanghai 5 years ago, did the opening here as number 2, as executive sous chef, and just got promoted a few weeks ago as number 1.
We got to watch executive chef Lam Ming Kin at work in the kitchen. The appetizer, foie gras brulee, dried sour cherries, and candied pistachios.
And then on top of the foie gras, you have the salad. You have the toasted pistachio, candied pistachio. This is mix everything. And then you can put your foie gras on top of the bread. You put some sugar. Let's use a torch to make the color. So you can see it started caramelize. This is the brulee, and then you put some feu de sel and a cracked black pepper. And then you have the white pork jelly. Okay, here you go.
The first course, pan-roasted 7-star sea bass.
Okay, so you pan fry it until it's crispy and golden. So we have the mixed mushroom, it's the seasonal mushroom. You can put the baby asparagus as well. And then you have the water chestnut and then some ginger. So this is the sesame mustard sauce. Okay, so you put some vegetable. Put it here. And then you have some verticelle. Okay, here you go.
The main course, Parmesan crusted organic chicken, artichokes, basil, and lemon butter.
So you have the chicken breast. It's cooked a little bit already, but you don't want to cook it all the way. And then you have the mixed Parmesan. So this is the crust. So you have the Parmesan and the flour in here. Okay, so first of all, you just dust some regular flour, and then you have the egg white, just regular egg white. And then you can make just easily touch the skin. Okay. In the meantime, you put some salt and some white pepper. Okay. Put the Parmesan crust upside down. Okay, and then you put it in the oven. About like 4-5 minutes. So you have the artichoke, and the sauce is the lemon butter sauce. So you just leave it here. Almost okay. Can you see it's golden brown in color? It's very nice. Okay, so you can start to place, and you can leave it in the pan to rest a little bit, and then you can finish the sauce with the basil. Okay, put the basil. Okay, here we go. Okay, and then you have the chicken, nicely cooked and golden brown. And you put some verticelle, the black pepper. Okay, here you go. That's it.
The final presentation is a treat for the eyes as well. The ingredients are fresh because many of them are from local sources.
Okay, so tonight you have the foie gras boulet, which is from Zhejiang. The foie gras is from Zhejiang, and then you have the white pork jelly. And then the next one is 7-star sea bass with the sesame mustard sauce, and the sea bass is from South China Sea. And then you have the main course is the Parmesan crusted chicken with lemon butter sauce, and the chicken is from Hainan.
In the main dining room, this 4-course prix-fixe dinner for $80 does not include beverages. A 6-course fare is about $130. Nougatine has prix-fixe menus for less, or you can just pop in for a dessert, about $8. For those adventurous enough to attempt Jean-Georges meals at home, they offer cooking classes from time to time, but there's one luxury that's harder to replicate at home. Whether it's the more casual Nougatine or the high-end main dining room of Jean-Georges restaurant, the one thing they both share is the view.
So if I look, on the other side, you see Pudong. As I just said before, I'm brand new in Shanghai, so for me, Pudong was still the same. But apparently, for the people who were here before, a few years ago, 11 or 12 years ago, was nothing over there.
His impression of Shanghai?
I just love it so far. It's a really interesting city. It's an amazing city. The city is really, moving, growing, and it's amazing. With the expo coming up soon, we hope filling the place every day, of course, for lunch, for dinner, and between if we have to.